Minister Rice.
Thank you, Madam Deputy President, and I also want to add my congratulations to your appointment as Deputy President. I think it's a wonderful thing to have another woman there as Deputy President. When I first spoke in this place, I stood here and I declared that the time for marriage equality in Australia has come. Now, today, it's 2 years and 3 days later, marriage equality has the support of the Prime Minister, the Opposition Leader, a majority of both the Senate and the House of Representatives, and an overwhelming majority of all Australians. Yet here we are, with a backwards coalition backbench, holding back a government that's holding back the nation. We are falling behind the rest of the world. There are 22 other countries, including the US, the UK, Ireland, South Africa, and perhaps the one that's closest to us and hurts the most, New Zealand, who recognise the right of all loving couples to marry, no matter where they fit, according to their sexuality or on the gender spectrum. In the last few weeks, my home state of Victoria has announced changes that means it's going to be possible for my partner Penny and myself to stay married, with Penny changing her birth certificate, and we're not going to be forced to divorce. Penny and I have had 30 years of wonderful marriage, and we ask, why are couples in the same situation in other states not afforded the same right? Trans-forced divorce is simply ridiculous. And why are thousands of other loving LGBTIQ couple relationships refused the right to show their love in marriage? We're told that we have to have a plebiscite. The excuse that the government has is a harebrained scheme that's a leftover from Tony Abbott and his band of merry troglodytes to delay the inevitable. There have been surveys done of lesbian, gay, bisexual, intersex and transgender people done in recent weeks that have shown that 85% don't want this plebiscite. And we know that polls are consistently showing that 7 out of 10 Australians are supporting marriage equality. In the past 99 years, we've had one plebiscite. And the way it's impacted on my life is that earlier today, instead of singing God Save the Queen or Waltzing Matilda, I sang Advance Australia Fair. But the way marriage equality is going to impact on lives is that loving couples will be able to show their love before friends, families and the law. There's been no other issue of human rights in the last 99 years that has been considered or decided by a plebiscite. There have been so many human rights decisions that have been made, whether it's ending discrimination against women, ending discrimination against racial minorities, and in particular, John Howard, when he was Prime Minister in 2004, he didn't need a plebiscite to change the Marriage Act to say that marriage had to be between a man and a woman, and we do not need a plebiscite to change it back. Of all the moral decisions that this Parliament has made in the past 99 years, the government wants a very expensive opinion poll that will intrude on the everyday lives of every lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender and intersex and queer person in this country. I mean, my partner, Penny, and myself, we know how such intrusion plays out, including having photographers staking out our house. But we know that this is what can happen when you put yourself forward for public office. But the hounding, the trolls, the attack ads of a plebiscite would seep into everyday life. This plebiscite could cost lives. That's not an exaggeration. Just take the pamphlets being handed out at the MCG a couple of weeks ago, suggesting a child with gay or lesbian parents has been deprived. For every parent, imagine going along to the footy to see such a hate-filled pamphlet and having to explain to your children why some people think that you have been deprived of something. And then imagine that sort of hate being broadcast with a megaphone through every form of media, traditional and social, on posters, on billboards, being talked about over the dinner table, at work and at school. And imagine you're a same-sex attracted young person, feeling isolated, alone, unsupported, perhaps feeling guilty, perhaps feeling that if you're a religious person that you're a sinner, that you're unworthy, that you're a lesser person, and having to experience that hate speech. Imagine that you're at a school where you haven't got the support of the Safe Schools Coalition, in a school that doesn't believe that there are any same-sex attracted students in their mix and certainly doesn't support them. Imagine putting up with that hate speech. It is no exaggeration to say that a plebiscite will mean that some people will feel that the best way forward is to take their life. So, after everything that we have heard, I honestly can't say that that we could support this plebiscite. In my first speech, I said, I'm here for all lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender and intersex people and their families. I cannot honestly say that I would have fulfilled this if we did not oppose the Coalition's plebiscite. I think of the young man Harry who wrote to me a year ago, a young gay man who fortunately has had the support of a very loving family and a lot of supportive people around him. He's too young to be thinking of marriage, but he shared with me the stories of 3 couples that he knew, his uncle and his partner who he desperately wanted to be able to be married so that they were equal to the rest of his uncles and aunts. Another family who were raising 3 young children and had to enter into very complex legal arrangements to be able to get the same rights as heterosexual couples. And Harry described them as the most amazing family and no different to any other. And it means so much to Harry that the tide has turned and we now have a majority of Australians and a majority of Australian parliamentarians who are now allies of the LGBTI community and are supporting the rights of people who love each other to get married. Harry, his friends, the people that he knows shouldn't have to be put through the harm and the hate speech that would come with a plebiscite. Another person who wrote to me a year ago was Jenny, who's been in a relationship with Maria for over 10 years. They've got an 8-year-old son. They spend their life doing the things that families with 8-year-old sons do, picking them up from after-school activities. And their 8-year-old son asks why that Jenny and Maria can't get married and how much he'd like it if they did. The time for marriage equality has come now. We need our parliament to get on with the job, have a free vote in the parliament so people like Jenny and Maria can get married. I mean, Maria is Spanish. And in Spain, marriage equality has been allowed since 2005. And it seems completely arbitrary that they can get married in Spain but not in Jenny's home here. They didn't need a plebiscite in Spain, just like we don't need one here in Australia. In deeply Catholic Spain in 2005, there was strong opposition from the church. But now, 11 years later, 85% of the Spanish community support marriage equality. There are plenty of bills that we're going to be discussing in this parliament over the coming months and years. And I want a marriage equality bill to be one of those to be brought on quickly, to have a free vote in this parliament and so that we can vote on it and get it done. Get it done. And I really have hope that we can, despite everything that the haters are throwing at us. We now have more publicly lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, intersex parliamentarians than at any time in our history. To Senator Wong, Senator Smith and the member for North Sydney, Trent Zimmerman, welcome back. To the member for Brisbane, Trevor Evans, the member for Bruce, Julian Hill, and the member for Goldstein, Tim Wilson. And a special welcome to Senator Pratt, who left this place as I entered, but is now back. Together with my colleagues in the Greens and the Parliamentary Friendship Group for LGBTIQ Australians, I believe that we can work together. We can help end discrimination at LGBTIQ people and their families.
Thank you, Senator Ross. Senator Rhiannon.